Hi everyone, how are you?
Hello.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
How's everyone today? Happy almost Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy
Happy almost
almost
Friday.
Friday.
It's a
Feels
great
good.
day.
Hi everyone on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's a new edition for Remote Room. And today we're talking about setting boundaries while working remotely that we know can be tricky for everyone, and we have all been there. So if you are seeking actually for a work-life balance, today is the day. You're gonna like learn how to do it at the end of the day, and we want to give us some tips and like really simple steps that you can start taking it today, and we're gonna do that at the end of the video. And we want to share a book, like there is a really good book that everyone can enjoy it at the end of it. So yeah, please stay and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to make a question or a comment, and if you're on LinkedIn you can do a comment in there and we'll be happy to share it. That's why today we have with me two my beautiful and wonderful smart colleagues, also remote workers. And here is Majo, Beto, and Emily. And I want you everyone to like please say hi to them. And if you want to share something about yourself and what your role here at TECLA, maybe we can start with Beto.
Yes, sure. So, hi, everyone. Happy to be here. Happy Thursday. I'm growth manager at TECLA. I've been working remotely since 2018 BC, before COVID. So, it's 2 years before COVID. And I'm jumping into my third year after COVID. So, it's a fun comparison.
Awesome. What about Majo? Thank you, Beto.
Hi everyone, my name is Maria Jose, but you can call me Majo. I'm a talent acquisition specialist here at TECLA. So basically, my job is to connect candidates with the right opportunities. And actually, this is my first year working 100% remote. So it's been a good experience, but it has some challenges. So I'm excited to be here talking about it.
Awesome. Your turn, Ems.
Yay. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily. I'm a talent acquisition specialist, just like Majo. Currently, I'm kind of like merging into account manager. So I'm wearing kind of a couple of hats right now. But I've been working remotely since the pandemic. So I guess I'm in between Vero, who has been working remotely before pandemic. I started in pandemic, and Majo, who has like a year working remotely. So yeah.
Awesome. I'm Steph. I'm head of community here at Tekla. And yeah, same. I've been working remotely since the beginning of the pandemic. So I just switched jobs, I don't know, 2 weeks before COVID, and it was a remote job. And it was kind of like the future for it. But yeah, today I want to like question some of the things that we talk about every day in like a fun way, in an easygoing way. But first, for everyone, I want to set an example like what is actually unhealthy boundaries at work. What they can look like. What are some examples that pop in your mind? Who wants to go first?
I think
I guess like
Anyone? Don't fight, please.
I think
we're
it's
warming up. Go,
Go,
Majo.
well,
Majo.
like the first thing that comes to my mind is when you say yes to everything, and sometimes like a clear example of that is when you accept an unrealistic due date. Like you know you can achieve that task for tomorrow, but you accept it, and that's completely unhealthy. But I think it's a clear example of what not having boundaries looks like.
What do you think, Ems?
Yeah, I think one of, I guess, the biggest example of an unhealthy boundary is not having boundaries or not knowing that you can set them, right? So, yeah, I feel like that's like the number one big boundary. And that applies to working remotely and even working at the office. It's very important to know what your boundaries are.
Exactly, exactly. And even I like the good news is like you can set them up, like you can have boundaries at work. And I
Yeah.
think even better news is like if you are going remote, sometimes give us the chance to set the boundaries that we cannot do that, or might be harder to do it like in the office, like in the more traditional environment. And that's my second topic. I really want to set this difference between boundaries and barriers. What do you think about these two words better?
So for me, boundaries have a more positive reasoning behind it. If you set a boundary, you're setting a safe zone where you can do your best and be your best. And on the other side, then you have a barrier, which is has a more negative connotation, and it would be something that is blocking you from doing your best. And a barrier is not having a boundary, so they're both intertwined.
Yes, definitely. What do you think, Emily, about it? Like, the main difference can be knowing that one is completely opposite and not doing your best, like Beto was saying. But do you have like an example? Have you seen this in your work environment, like right before TECLA, before remote? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I guess if I could like share an example of a boundaries, for example, you have working hours, right? So you have like you work from 9 to 6. It is a boundary that you're setting that you won't like be working after hours or before hours. But a barrier would be like if I am talking to you and I'm like, hey, we have a new project that will like demand more time from your work time for you to focus on a new project, and you're like, nope, I just work from this time to this time and I only do these tasks, then that will be a barrier. You're putting yourself a barrier to keep growing. A boundary is a way of just like Beta said, right? It's for you to do your best. So you set these boundaries, but they shouldn't become barriers. I don't know if that makes sense. Like one is a blocker, and then the other one is to keep you safe from burning out or worse stuff than that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, of course. And Majo, I have a question like with this. Imagine like you actually know your boundaries, you know the difference between barriers and boundaries, etc. But what about people who don't respect those boundaries? Like, what do you think a remote worker can do with that? And it's not only with your managers or your leaders; it can be a peer. But
Like,
what about those?
yeah. I think it's interesting because when you're at the office, it's easier to have a boundary in a lot of aspects. Like, you have to work until 6 or 7, and then you go home, and that's it, I guess. But when you work from home, you have all this flexibility. You manage your own time, which is great, but it also comes with the responsibility of putting the boundaries. So if someone is not able to respect that, you have to do an act of, I don't know, self love, and just,
Yeah.
like, I can do it, and I'm sorry. I can set my notifications off during the night, and I will get back to you when I am back to my work time. So I think that's it. We have to be clear about boundaries and then respect that. That's my opinion.
Yes,
No.
and
Yeah.
also just to add a bit there, it's important to communicate when you work remotely. Is so much different than going to an office. So you need to over communicate your lunch hours. I've seen a lot of remote workers that don't even stop for lunch, and for me, that's the biggest red flag because you need to stop in the day for at least 30 minutes and enjoy your meal in peace. But it's important for you to communicate because then you assume that the other person knows, and you have to take into account that you work with people from different time zones that maybe have no idea that you're in your lunch break or that you're taking a break. So it's important that you speak up always, constantly.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
excellent. And that's the most part of it. Like, I think it's 50-50, right? One, like, with ourselves, that we have to put boundaries ourselves, but also for the rest of the team, for your manager and for your peers. And what Better was saying is like over communicating is actually good in a remote environment because we have all these type of tools like Slack or like in Meets or an email or maybe a text even, that you have an emergency, you have lunch, you have turn off your notifications, anything in between. What do you think, Emily, about it?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it's important not only to make other people respect it, but also that you respect them yourself, right? Because, for example, it has happened to me that I block my calendar and I'm like, from this hour till this hour, I'm gonna be like full time, like sourcing, no one's gonna distract me. But then a notification comes and I'm like, oh, let me answer her super quickly.
That's
And then
classic. Yeah.
I just like, yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, my boundaries are off the chart, right? So it is
Yeah.
important that, yeah, you over communicate to people and also remember yourself. Like, these are my boundaries. I'm setting them for a reason. Like, I'm not doing
Yeah.
it for fun. I need these boundaries. So it
Yeah.
is important to also respect them yourself, right?
That actually leads perfect timing. Thank you, Emily. It looks like her perfect.
Yeah.
For my next one, but because it's like we have to figure it out how we work best. Like not everyone work in the same way, and we have different types of workers. Some are like really up in the morning doing everything in the first 3 4 hours of the day. A lot of them a lot of us are not in that way. We have like a couple of hours to actually adjust and everything to start the day. But what do you think about this sentence? Do you think it's actually easier in a remote environment to have different type of workers? Again,
Well,
don't
again,
fight.
since no one is starting, I'll go first. Yes, I think it's true. And first, I think it's important to know yourself and be honest about the kind of work schedule that you want to have and what works best for you. For instance, I would like to say that I'm a morning person, but I'm not. So I have like this.
Same here.
Yes, I'm like everyone is like getting up at 5 a.m. That's not my case, but I try. I try, but it's not my case. So at night I have my energy peaks and I'm super productive sometimes. And I love that about me, but sometimes I have to remember my boundaries because I know that I have this energy peak, but I shouldn't be working at 11 p.m., you know?
Right.
So that's something that I had to learn about myself. I'm productive at night, but I that doesn't mean that I'm gonna stay the whole night up working. And you know, that's something that it's key for me to know myself and put the boundary.
Yeah, and what about the people that says, okay, like they are start working remotely and says, okay, it's okay, I'll just work from my bed and I'll do that every day, and it's actually cold and I'm gonna start
We can
working from my bed every day. What do you guys will tell them?
Oh my God, that's the worst. That happened to me when I started to work remotely in 2018. Everyone was like, oh my God, you're so lucky. You're going to work in your PJs and in your bed and watch Netflix every day. I'm like, what? That sounds great, but that's not it, you know? So it's important that you have boundaries within your house or wherever it is that you do your remote work.
That-
That's it. Perfect timing, Steph. You need to declutter your physical and your mental space. Like that's key. You need to visualize where you're going to work and treat it like you treat an office space. That's super important.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
agree.
also, like, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, when it comes to like knowing what, like, how you work best, it is important, obviously, like your physical space. Like, if you like, I don't know, you like working in your bed, which could happen, but you also need to understand that you still are in a professional environment, right? You are at home, yes, but you're still in a profession. So maybe, yeah, you work perfectly from bed, but you wouldn't take a meeting, like you wouldn't invite people over to your bed to have a meeting, right? So you need to keep that in mind because it is like you're working perfectly fine, but you still have like professional a professional setting. So you need to keep that level of responsibility on how you present yourself, how you deal with your everyday tasks and all of that, because it is home, but it's also work. So it's important to also like keep that very defined line.
Yeah, yeah, that bit, like that makes perfect sense. You wouldn't invite anyone like to important meeting if you are wearing PJs all over the place.
Yeah.
But also, I think be like really gentle with you. Like if you, like Majo was saying, if it's a day like in, I don't know, in a couple of months that you actually been working late, be gentle about it as well. It's not like the end of
Yeah.
the world. If you want to, like, don't put shoes on the whole week, but
Right.
you
Yeah,
you sort of-
absolutely.
I'm
Not
Those
always on.
are the perks of
really.
remote work. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
are.
that's actually like the biggest perk for me. I used to like hate wearing, I don't know, heels or like sneakers all day. I'm perfectly fine with clothes and everything else, but
We are all wearing like sweatpants right now. I
Yeah.
promise.
True.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
for
like what Steph was saying, right? You should be like gentle with yourself because sometimes we have bad days. Um, we don't feel like being super professional in the sense of like wearing a t-shirt and like being like, I don't know, like putting on a tie or whatever, right? So we definitely need to be gentle with ourselves and also don't feel guilty about it because we are humans at the end of the day, right? So if you feel like, I don't know, like it's not your A plus day game, you feel a little bit like a little bit lazy or something, but you're still like meeting all your responsibilities, doing everything that you need to do. Don't feel like you're lacking off, or don't feel like you're guilty for like taking a call wearing sweatpants, but maybe having the camera off because you feel that it's not the best. You're not on your best game that day, but yeah, like don't feel guilty. At the end of the day, we are humans. We're working from home. It is a new environment. We need to understand ourselves, and that comes along with knowing what works best with you, right? If you know that this day, like every day, for you, your routine is waking up at 7, taking a shower, changing clothes. But one day you wake up and you're like, you know what? Today I'm really like I don't feel like doing it, but you still need to work, right? And you will still work. It won't do your everyday routine. Don't feel guilty for not doing it. It's not like the end of the world for not doing it one day. So yeah.
another
Yeah.
perfect time,
Yeah,
Emily.
We're
we're
This
gonna
so in sync.
this.
The people are gonna thank you, everyone who's been watching on YouTube. Please subscribe. We're like 2 people away for 500 subscribers, so please go and subscribe. But this is like the next topic. Like, what about set and stick to a routine? Like, what do you guys recommend? What are your routines? If you can share it with us. What did you usually do? Maybe not every day. But usually in a week, what are, if you get up, what do? You go for a walk, you have breakfast? I don't know, who wants to share it.
I'll go first because I know you girls are not going to start. So
Yeah.
I'll go first. Yeah. Well, I am not a morning person, but it's not because I get up late or anything like that. But it's just that mornings for me, I like to take it slower. Have my breakfast, enjoy it. So I wake up around like I get up around 7 a.m. and I take my dog out for a walk. Then I try to exercise, go to the gym. I go back home, eat my breakfast, which I love. For me, it's like it sets my mood for the day. If I have,
The ritual.
yeah, if I have to eat my breakfast and I am not able to enjoy it, it's not a good day for me. So I have my breakfast and then I start doing my work, my tasks, and that's my routine. I try to do that, and I try to have lunch at 1 p.m. and then I try to do the rest of my job until 7 p.m. But I'm guilty of saying that I sometimes stay up late because I'm a night owl. So that's for me. But I have to play between this flexibility and having my routine, because if I don't do that, I get stressed, I procrastinate, it feels
Mhm.
like I'm not doing my job. So that's definitely when the balance thing comes into place. You have to be flexible, but also have a system that works for you. So yeah, that's my case.
That's perfect. Be flexible, but with a system. Yeah, I love that phrase. What about you, Beto? What is your routine?
So for me, it's more easy to set a routine than to stick to it because we're all
Yeah.
humans. So what I like to do is I like to set aside hours for something that brings me happiness or joy, whatever it can be. Like if I wake up and I don't feel like working out, for example, but I want to do something peaceful before starting my morning at work, I'll go and walk my dog, and I'll give my dog a really long walk and watch the ocean, for example, or I'll read. I'll listen to a podcast while I'm making my coffee, but I try to make something that makes me happy before starting work. I am a morning person, so I like to start the day before 9 a.m. I like the quiet and the stillness of everything. So I try to do my to do list for the day, um, and I get to it. And then I take a hard stop at 1 p.m. to do another happy something, like take a walk, cook something, eat, whatever. And then I make a hard stop at 6:30, maybe a little bit more, but I try to stop at 6:30, and it works. It's good for your creativity to have discipline to try to stick to the same activities every day. It helps you a lot.
Awesome. What about you, Emily? How is your
Okay,
day usually goes?
sure. So actually, my routine is not so much of a routine. So I am at fault here. But basically, I guess like I don't have like a morning routine per se. Like every morning I wake up at this hour, I have breakfast and blah blah blah. I don't really like work like that. But like during the day, like once I'm like sitting on my desk, that's like work time. And I also have I have a an alarm that goes off at 4 every single day, and that means like break time. So I every day at 4 p.m. I stand up, I go to the kitchen, I go to like the garden to like smell some fresh air or whatever. But I always like stop at 4. It doesn't matter if I'm like like in the middle of an email or something. I really need to like 4 p.m. is like my, I call it my like my active pause. So I like stand up, I move around, I stretch, because otherwise I'm gonna be there for like the whole day. So I guess I don't really have like a routine per se, but I do have these habits of like doing something every day. Otherwise, I'll go crazy. So yeah.
No, I
I love
love it.
that.
And
Yeah.
it's actually another perfect timing for the next one. But I wanted just before that, I want to share that I'm not a morning person as well as Majo. Like it's really difficult for me to actually get up. It was like the worst time for me, the school, like really early in the morning. I don't know how my nephews do it right now. Like it's so here in Lima in Peru, it's all gray
Oh
at 6 a.m. The worst. Like I actually work best when it's sunny and it's like really light.
Yeah.
Um, outside and everything else. So those things impact on me a lot, on my productivity. But now I know that. Now I know how can like I turn it over. So I've put myself on tennis classes, on with a personal training in the morning. So that's the first thing I do. I actually got up and go and do exercise or like start a new thing or hobby or a new sport. And that's when like I'm like, okay, now I have energy. Now I have like the mindset to actually start my day and everything else. But what Emily was saying about taking her breaks at 4 p.m., that's actually really, really good and really on time because yeah, the next topic is take breaks and take time for yourself, like actually using your PTO, your lunch breaks, like Beto was saying, like there's people, and we hear it right from candidates that come from different work, different jobs, and they want to switch to a more remote environment, that they don't actually go to lunch, or they go like coding all night, or everything in between. Go to your self-care days with to your doctor's appointment. I don't know, all the things that you have to do. What tips do you have for actually take them? Because it's really easy to saying it, like take your time off, take your breaks, but to actually put it in practice is it's trickier, right? What do you guys think? Go
I
better.
have a tip. I have a tip that I do every day to stand up, because I cannot do an alarm like Emily at 4 o'clock. I would just snooze it. Like I can't. But what I can do is I put my headphones in a different place. I put my laptop charger on my room. I put my cell phone charger on the kitchen every day.
A
So
really good.
I I force myself to stand up because I need it. I need to charge my phone. I need my headset. I need my computer charger. So that's the only way I can stand up. And it works. So maybe you can also try if you have a hard time standing up.
What do you Emily puts an alarm that goes off every day. What do you do, Majo?
I have a tip that it's very simple and that I just found out on Twitter. On Twitter from a girl, like it's a tip that she used to do, and it's like just as you schedule calls on your calendar, you should schedule time for yourself on your calendar as well. Like, and that's key for me. I've started doing this for like 2 months. And I have to schedule like I have this appointment with a friend, or I will go to have lunch with my family this day during this time. This is my time to read. This is the time to go to the gym. So if I see that in my calendar, I will remember that I have to do it.
You'll
And
respect.
it's exact exactly. And I will also I don't know, it's like a reminder that it's also important, just as it is important to do your tasks at work, and basically I'm kind of an introvert, so if I don't do that, it's easy for me to stay home like throughout the week and not do fun stuff like my
Social.
hobbies I enjoy. Exactly. So that's a tip that I can give you guys.
Yeah, totally. If I don't put anything on my Google Calendar, it doesn't exist. Even
Same.
wedding occasions, birthday parties, going to have,
Same.
I don't know, lunch with my mom, anything. Like I have to put it in there because it's easier for like oneself to actually forget that you need breaks, for everything, for your productivity and for everything in between. So we're
Honest-
have
I-
the talk, and I have one more topic before sharing our final tips. This book that it's really cool, that we want to share it to everyone that's watching and that will watch afterwards on YouTube. And I think it's one of our favorite ones. What do
Before
you guys?
that, can I add something?
Okay, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, because we were talking how you should be taking breaks like during the day, during work days. But it's also important, and something you mentioned, Steph, is take your PTOs, use them. They are meant to be used, right? So take a full day off. Take, I don't know, if you have like a week available, and maybe you feel like, oh, a week is too much. Take 3 days. But if you take them, really take them. Like really be off, right? We can't leave things unattended because we're like, but this person needs an answer from me.
And
That
it's
other
never a
person,
good time. It's never
Never
a
that
good.
ever happened.
yeah. And
It's
we're
never
like,
that happened.
yeah, definitely. And it's like that other person is not gonna die if you don't answer the minute you receive the email. Like,
Totally. Yes.
it's totally fine. They also take time off. So just how you understand when someone has like an automated like reply, right? Like, I'm like out of the office, and you're like, okay, then I'll just like message them again once they're back. The same thing will happen when you set up that like automated message. So do take the PTOs and be off. Like really, really take your time off and enjoy it. And once you come back, yeah, maybe your email will have like 200 emails, but you'll be like so refreshed and like
But that's fine.
re-energized. Yeah, and it is like it is your time off, so do take them and enjoy them.
And also don't wait for a travel or for a vacation to take your PTO.
Yeah,
Like you can take one day off to go and have a nice lunch and then take a long nap. And it would be
yeah,
great. So you don't need to wait to travel somewhere to take your PTO.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, that's totally true, and that's a reminder for myself as well because I'm usually trying to
Mm.
plan like the next, I don't know, vacation, I don't know, overseas or something like that. But usually a couple of days off, it will be best if you want to actually disconnect. And Emily was saying, right? Like, actually take them. Like, you can, right now, with all the tools that we have working remotely, you can actually log off, put like, how do you, like, turn off the notifications for everything, for your email. Like, the iPhone has that, and all the phones have that, those settings that you can actually, I don't know, like, block people's emails and
Yeah.
special, like, your,
Yeah, that
and you have
changed my
to do it.
life. That changed my life. Because I would be on a Sunday having fun with my dog, with my family, and then a notification would come up in my phone, and it would ruin my Sunday. I would be like, I have to do this. Like I would be thinking about it, and I would
Yeah.
stop being present. So once I turned my notifications off, like my life changed for the better. So if you haven't done so far, do it. Go ahead and do
Yeah.
it
No.
now, right now, just after
Yeah.
this call.
Yeah.
First, subscribe to the channel, to the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
turn off
And
all the,
then go and ask for your PTOs in
Yeah.
that order.
and then go
Yeah.
and apply for all the TECLA jobs that you fit in.
Exactly.
Finish the talk.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then my next one is, I don't actually have like the cool graphics for it, but the next one was actually make friends. Like, working from home, you can make friends. It doesn't have to be lonely. So, what do you guys think about it? Like, how, what are the things that you do to actually have a more, I don't know, a better connection with your peers or with your managers? Like, what are the tips that you can provide the candidates that we're interviewing, or the people that are watching right now? Go,
You
Majo.
mean I was ready to go, but I'm not sure if I understood the question. So you mean making friends at your job, right?
Yeah, yeah, your job, like making your working from home community. It can be inside your job, it can be in a
Yeah.
different one.
I think it's key to remember that everyone is a person and not only a coworker. I mean, they have a life, and you have to remember that when you reach out to someone and when you ask someone to do something, you need to remember that that person has to do their job, but they also have a family. They have to go to the doctor. They have to, I don't know, read, go dance, whatever they like to do on their free time. So yes, it's a bit hard when you are working 100% remotely to have that social environment, but there are a lot of tools to create that space and be friends with your coworkers. So yeah.
Yeah, let us know, Majo. Have you been friends with your coworkers? I'm kidding with her because she just made like a big trip with one of her coworkers. So yeah, for sure.
Yes, and it was great. And that's actually something that I wanted to mention. Um, Try to schedule, if you have the chance, like maybe one day a week to work with your friends, maybe in a coffee, I don't know, someone's house. That's really fun, and you will also share ideas, which is not easy to do working remotely. So if you have the chance to do that, do that. Go and have lunch with them, chat about what do they enjoy doing, and I promise you it will be a great experience. I have some pretty good friends in Lima, in Colombia, and I don't know, Costa Rica, Mexico, that I hope to meet someday, thanks to
Of,
remote job.
yeah, of
And it
course.
all, yeah, and it all starts with open, like turning your camera on. Like that's for me is like the biggest tip. Like don't. I know that sometimes you don't feel like it, um, but it's important because it's the only visual, non-verbal communication you get from your team. And maybe something happens. Maybe a dog walks by and you're like, oh my God, you have a dog, me too. What's his name? And blah, blah, blah. And you start making connections. Or you see they have a new microphone or a new book or whatever. And you see that's our fifth guest.
Yeah.
So
Remote
it's
room
important.
mascot.
So
Yes,
tomorrow,
Yeah.
if you have a call, turn your camera on, take
definitely.
notice of your team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Emily?
Yeah, definitely. And even like in meetings, sometimes it feels like you like need have like a 15-minute call, you just want to go straight to work. But it's also very nice when you're like do the small talk part, right? Like ask how they're doing. If you see them and you're like, oh, like you, I don't know, you're wearing a new lipstick, like that looks great, or you know, like even doing like those small interactions, it might seem trivial or like very like, oh, we're wasting time, we need to get to work. It's still like a human connection that you're doing there. So don't forget that they are people, just like Maho was saying. They are people. They're not like just a screen, although all you see is a screen, but it is a person behind it, right? So so yeah, like they just like yeah, like put the effort to like connect with them. And even most, I guess, like most companies that are remote first types companies, they do have these mechanisms. Like for example, us in TECLA, we have like the social events, right? So every Friday we all meet up and we play games so that then we can all interact, right? Most I guess most companies that have this culture of working remotely would find this space and will be finding it valuable. But in case they don't have it, then you can definitely be like, hey, this would be like a good
Let's do it.
thing. Yeah, let's do this. Like, let's meet who we are working with. Like, I want to know who I'm talking to on a daily basis, right? So
Yeah,
let's
how are these people doing? Yeah.
exactly. And yeah, maybe they are like for us. And for example, we have people in Costa Rica, in Colombia, in the US, in Lima, like in Peru, and maybe we won't be able to see them physically, but at least create these virtual spaces where you can still connect, right?
Yeah, and if you do have, like Emily was saying, a lot of remote first companies have them, try to participate. Like uh
Yeah.
Yes,
it's a,
make it
it's a
mandatory for yourself.
Yes,
yeah, it's
just like
exactly
put it on
it's
your
fun.
calendar. Definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry,
No,
Majo, you
like
were
put it. No, I was just saying that it should be on your calendar, like in
Yeah.
TECLA, social Zoom every Friday, and everyone should be there because it's just a part of the job, basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because in the office you will do these type of things, having lunch together or like going out of the office to actually have lunch on a Friday, or just going, I don't know, to have a cup of water or anything. But like unfortunately on the remote environment you cannot do that. But always you can, before asking for something, you can say, how are you, how was your pet doing, like how's your,
Yes.
also,
how was the Dua Lipa concert yesterday? Anything like
yes,
you can actually meet these wonderful people that work with you, and it will make everything so much easier, right?
Yeah.
yes. Like in
Okay.
TECLA, we have the donut. I don't know, like just let's wait for the plane to pass. But this is something that happens on remote work all the time, like the noises, construction noises, and all these things. But
And it's
my point,
okay.
yeah, my point was that in Tekla we have this donut thing that it matches you with someone of your team, maybe a different area, and you have a conversation that it's not related to job. So let's say that I know we have a great development team at Tekla, but I don't have the chance as a recruiter to talk with them. But I had the chance to chat with Carlos, Pedro, and they're great. So
Yeah.
maybe you're missing the chance of meeting great people just because you don't have those spaces. So if you don't
Yes.
have those, be the person that proposes to have them.
Hmm.
Yeah, especially with the ones that you don't interact like on daily basis, right? Because they are not part of your team or your projects or anything in between. But yeah, we're almost 40 minutes, well, more than 40 minutes now in this remote room. So I want to share that simple steps, that we have 4 steps that anyone can start doing it today. And I want to like share it with you guys, and at the end of it share a book that we want all of you to read and to enjoy and share it. I'll put the first one and we can comment it about it. Like just 4 simple steps that Vero actually make the research for it on our newsletter. So if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, I highly recommended you to do it. after you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everything. Well, the first one is list your non-negotiables. Better, you want to explain it for us, and then we can all comment it.
Sure. So your non-negotiables, they don't have to be work related. They're just the goals you want for yourself. So my easiest example would be I need to stretch more. So I'm blocking 15 minutes a day to stretch, and that's my non-negotiable. No meeting can happen there. Nothing can happen there.
Perfect. What do you guys think about this? Majo, what are your right now non-negotiables?
My non-negotiables are no work during the weekends. And to be clear, the boundaries are something that I have to work mostly with myself because sometimes I don't respect them at work. So, no work during the weekends. I will try from now on to only work maybe 2 nights a week and try to do my work before 6 or 7. That's something that I promised to myself. I will do that from now on. And yeah, those are my non-negotiables. And also respect my lunchtime.
Perfect. Yeah,
Way
same
to
for
go,
me.
Majo.
Go, Majo.
Yeah.
We For me, my non-negotiables is my lunch break every day. I actually like block an hour for it. I have to like because I came from like an industry that I can only have lunch for I don't know 20 minutes, and it was really stressful time for me. Just like eating because you have to eat and not because you actually enjoy it. And I love food, and after that it's like I have to actually make exercise. So my morning routine, my morning exercise is a non-negotiable for me. What about you, Emily?
Yeah, my non-negotiables are pretty similar to Majo. Like no work during the weekend. Doesn't matter if I'm like anxious about, oh, did I get an applicant or not? I don't care. I will not check my email, right? And then also the lunch hour. It is a full hour that I will dedicate either to eating or doing something else. Like that hour, I'm not checking it. And you know what? Something that has definitely helped me, because my I guess my personal phone is also where I get notifications from work.
Mm-hmm.
I use a different sound to anything related to work. So say I'm during my lunch break and I hear the sound go off and I'm like, oh, this is a work notification. I won't look at it until my hour is done.
That's a really good tip. I like that.
Yeah,
That's a lot
yeah,
of self-control.
it is. It is.
Also, yeah, I
Yeah.
usually like put my phone away, like put the moon sign, and
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
it's
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one, number two. These are the steps you can actually do right now from now on. The second one is know your ground, the ground you stand. Like, what do we mean for this one, Beto? Can you explain to us?
Yeah, sure. So in this case, know the ground you stand is you need to be perfectly clear of what your job tasks will be. So what happens in burnout in remote work is that you think that your boss wants X, Y, and Z. You think. But because you don't communicate if that's the goal, then you overwork because your boss didn't want X, Y, and Z. He wanted A, B, C. So you need to know where you stand, what your tasks are, what goal you're working for, what roadblocks you have. And in that way, you can better prioritize your tasks.
Awesome, perfectly explained. Yeah, and it's the thing that we were saying at the beginning, right? Over communicating in a remote environment is not a bad thing. Majo, what do you think of this? The second one, like, what are the tips that you can provide everyone who's watching?
So I think it's key to work on your communication skills with your peers and with your boss so they know everything is clear, you know what you have to do. If you have a specific due date that you have to respect, talk about it, like say, try to say set something that is realistic and achievable for you, and it also works for the company. I'm not saying that you should take 2 or 3 weeks to do something. But be realistic, or if you have a big task, try to make it around three stages, three objectives, so you can work on it and not get burned out. But communicate a lot with your bosses and with your coworkers.
Yeah, perfect. I'll go to the next one because we're running out of time. But the third one will be book your time unrespected. Yeah, this one we've been talking the
Yeah,
whole
we've
hour,
covered.
right?
Yeah.
And it's really self-explanatory. But Majo explained perfectly before. Like if it's not on your Google Calendar, you're not gonna respect it, right? If you don't book the time for your lunch because you have lots of meetings on, or maybe you're a person that doesn't have meetings at all, and maybe that's why the people always think you're available. So especially there, you have to book your lunchtime, your appointment with the dentist, your anything, or maybe just your breaks. Emily, it was explained to us that she has an alarm that goes off every day at 4 o'clock, and you can pick the time of the day that you want, right?
Mhm.
And the next one is a start and end of the day ritual. Pero, you want to explain a bit more about this?
Yes, I think this is pretty self-explanatory too, but basically is you need to do a small action that cues your brain that it's time to log off work, because you don't have the physical manifestation of going from an office to your house. It's all in your house. So the point of a small ritual is to make your brain say, okay, I can chill now. It's okay. I'm done. I'm done. So for me, in my case, it would be, I don't know, 6:30. I start to turn off my laptop and I put a podcast that I really like. And then I stand up and I go get a snack. And I know that that's my time to log off. And if you repeat it for 2 weeks, then it would become easier and your brain will slow down in autopilot.
I love it. Do you guys have, Majo and Emily, do you have an end of the day ritual?
I don't, but I will. I promise. I will now. It's great. It's a great idea. I've got so many great tips from this chat. But I will do it. I will try to close my laptop, go eat a snack, and take my dog out. I think that's a good ritual for
Yeah,
me.
that's a nice one. Yeah.
That's a really
Yeah.
nice one. What about you, Emily?
Yeah, well, same to like having different sounds of notifications. I have color of screens, right? So I have like a Mac and I have different desktops, right? So I have the desktop for work and I have my personal desktop. So once I'm out of work desktop, I'm out. Like
You
that is
switch.
my physical, like yeah, that's my switch of okay, I'm out of work. I'm now on personal time. So yeah, that's something that I do.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and what I usually do is I change clothes. It makes me feel like
Oh, that's
it's
a good one.
the day.
That's a
Yeah.
good one. Yes.
Uh, yeah, anything. It can be just like if I was like wearing, I don't know, sweatpants and like a hoodie, I will change hoodies, a different one. And
That's
yeah,
great.
probably go and eat something or drink water and anything. But before, my office was it has like a separate room, so I will actually close the door, and the door was closed like for the day. Right now, like we were doing some remodelations and stuff, I usually turn off the lights and put everything away, like you will do in a proper office. When you go out, like at the end of the day, you'll close your desk. You will close like the keys for your drawers and everything in between, and then you'll go to your house and change clothes. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
So
and during the weekend, like hide your laptop, hide everything
Yeah.
that is related to work. Hide it. Don't see it.
I love the thing that Emily was saying, like switch desktops on your computer. That's a good idea. Like I do that, but with Chrome profiles. Like I have one for
Yeah.
Yeah.
work related things, and then on the weekends, because I use my computer, I'll go to the next one. But yeah, those are the four steps that we want to share with all of you, that everyone that is watching on LinkedIn and YouTube. And is one, list your non-negotiables. Two, know your the ground you're standing. Three, book your time and respect it. And four, start and end of the day ritual. Those are the four ones that we want to share with all of you. I want to just do like a small, I don't know, conclusion for each, like a resume that you want to share, each one of us, and at the end we will share the book that I was saying about. Who wants to go first? Majo, I'm looking at you.
I wasn't prepared, but I'll do my best. First of all, to set your boundaries, you should know yourself. So know yourself, be honest with you, and based on that, work on a system that works for you. And after that, be consistent to that. So if you know that you work better at night, then try to put a limit that you will only work for 2 hours during the night, and then you will have the rest of the day to do certain tasks, and then you will be out of work. And then be consistent and respect the boundaries that you have set.
Awesome. What about you, Emily?
I guess for me, I guess an advice that I could give is yes, obviously know yourself, know your boundaries, and respect them. It's really important to respect them, but most importantly, if you so happen to not meet those boundaries, don't be so like mean to yourself. It's okay to have a day off. It's okay to take time off. It's okay to not answer the minute that you receive an email. Like, don't be so harsh on yourself. You're human. You are working from home, yes, but just be kind to yourself as well. Know your boundaries, set them, try to respect them the best that you can. But if you can't, a certain day, it's a day off for you. Don't feel guilty about it. It's okay. It's okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. And yeah, we've done a lot of tips this talk, and I love it. But the last one we want to share is a really cool book, actually Beto recommended to us, and we want to recommend to all our TECLA community. Before that, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn. And you can always try to connect with every one of us. On YouTube, we are sharing all our profiles, so you can pin us and talk us over there. And yeah, finally, before going, so this is a remote room by Tekla recommendation. It's At Your Best by Carrie Newhoff. I don't know how
Newhoff.
to. That's right. Thank you, Beto. Can you share a little bit about this book, Beto?
Okay, so first, you don't have to buy the book. You can see a lot of reviews on YouTube to get the main idea. But basically, what I loved about it is that it gives you guidelines to work according to your natural rhythms and to your energy. So, for example, I am a morning person, so I know that my green light, yeah, you can see in the cover, it separates by green, yellow,
Mhm.
and red. So my green light is when I'm at my best. I'm at my best creative work. I'm at my best mood. So I try to do my creative work and all of my meaningful activities during the day during 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. And then I know that my energy drops. So I get into a yellow zone. And that's when I will be my best at answering emails or doing any repetitive task. It's my best. And then my red is when I'm all out of energy and all I want to do is take a nap, watch TV, dive into TikTok for 2 hours. So it's and the book basically says that you can have all of those colors during the day at any
Yeah.
time. And as Majo said, it says it's important to know yourself, to know and be truthful to yourself and say, okay, my best is between 7 and 1 p.m. and 3 and 4 p.m. After that, like, no, I cannot work. So I highly recommend to see the videos, Look for the author.
He has a podcast, right? As well, if you want, if
Yes,
you're
he
into
has a podcast too. Yes.
Great.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a perfect recommendation, and of course, you can always ask us if you want the podcast, the video, or anything in between. We have all our LinkedIn profiles on the YouTube channel chat. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've been doing a lot of efforts over there. We're gonna do a lot more lives over there, and go to our news platform. That you will find the best remote jobs that you can work starting tomorrow for Silicon Valley and other US, Canadian, European companies 100% remote. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you girls for joining me today. Thank you a lot for your time.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.